I actually thank you again for coming and
Pleasure.
speaking with us. My question was, of course, it was your brother and his wife that started the business, so effectively it is a family business. Along with the business challenges and stuff, what were the personal challenges you had, like in that family connection?
Yeah, well, it sometimes isn't easy working as a family, and it can change your relationship where what would normally be family occasions like Christmas and Easter, you can start talking about work in a rather sort of professional way. So you've got to be a bit careful about that. But to my brother's great credit, he's the real boss, but he doesn't make me feel like he's the real boss. So, but equally, I know that if we have a disagreement about something, when push comes to shove, he owns more shares than I do. And so I know my place. And it's great, actually. I think where you can have struggles, more struggles, is if it's 50-50 and you both think that the other guy's the freeloader and you're the hero doing all the hard work, then I think that can lead to real friction. But having clear understanding of different roles when you set up in partnership or working as part of a family business, I think you save yourself a lot of heartache later.
Well, basically, my question is because you were changing career from being a barista, right, to come to the business and to go to entrepreneurship business, what would be your tip to people who are considering to, after having a good career, to move to the business and start up something?
Okay. I really enjoyed being a barrister, but I knew that I didn't want to do it for the rest of my life, because if I got to being a fat, successful, smug barrister aged 50 or 60, I'd have felt that life had passed me by. And I knew that if I hadn't gone for it, when the opportunity arose, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. It would have always spent the next 10 or 20 years. I may have been able to pay the rent, but I'd have been thinking, what if? So if you feel that your heartstrings are tugging you, I think if in doubt, you've got to do it.
Okay, so basically it's like to catch the moment?
Yes.
Or where you can
I'm a firm believer. I am a firm believer that in life you have a series of opportunities. Windows of opportunity open up. And you may not be able to do advanced thinking as to identify what exactly those opportunities are, but what you can do is advanced thinking as to how you recognize opportunities. So I've spent quite a lot of time thinking about the kind of life I wanted to live, what was important to me, how much money I could afford to live off, how big a pay cut could I afford to live off with a family and a wife. And I'd done all that work in the background, so when an opportunity arose, it felt right, and I knew that it ticked my boxes, because I spent time thinking about what those boxes are.
So, what would you say is entrepreneurship a really good career path? Is it where a lot of people's heart these days is going? So, what sort of take do you have on just entrepreneurship as such?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic way of life. It's not stable in the way that being an accountant in a large organisation is stable, but I couldn't think of anything worse than that. And it's exciting, and you make your own success and you create your own failure as well. And the great thing about entrepreneurship is you get a team together and you're building something, and not all of it goes the right way, but you can pick yourself up, you learn, you recognise your mistakes, try and fix it, and then away you go again. And it is a bit of a roller coaster. We've been incredibly lucky, and luck does inevitably play a little bit of it, but you make your own luck as well. And it's about taking opportunities and reaching for the stars. And I think it's you may not get the stars, but you might reach the moon.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal and professional growth on this front. Like entrepreneurship seems to be something that's making people really step out of the usual ways of life and actually focus on growth of all kinds actually. Yeah. So that's actually one of the best things, one of the reasons I even took entrepreneurship. It's actually great. So, Sally?
Well, yeah, I had a question sort of moving you along your journey, so not the startup phase, but the point where you said the building team is important, and at some point, rightly so, some people do not move and do not grow with company, and you probably need to make some difficult decisions. Do you see any tension in that and still promoting your internal brand to the employees of that authenticity and value?
I absolutely understand what you're getting at. If you're not careful, yes, you can have feelings of upset, but no one's owed a job. We all have to be brilliant at our jobs because you have an opportunity to work at Go Ape, myself included. You don't have a right. And most people know inside themselves that they're not up to it if they've got to a stage where they're no longer comfortable in where they are in their career. And for people, it may be painful, but it can also be a relief. And the other thing is that if you've got people who are just not in the right job any longer, their teams will know that. And whilst there's a huge amount of personal sympathy, people want to have great people in the right roles. So I think if it's handled sympathetically, you take the right decision, and you start with what we always say is first thing you've got to do is take the right decision for the business, and then how you do it, you look after your teams. So you look after your people, but you take the right decision for the business.
Right.
The other way is disaster, because you're not looking after anyone then,
Yes.
and you end up with no business and no jobs.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is really
Pleasure.
great speaking with you, and thank you so much for coming for the talk.
Pleasure.
Thank
Great.
you.
Really nice to meet you.